or a whole what I could say a whole science is attributed to this thing called as learning. It could be using some statistical methods, or it could be something non-statistical learning. Okay, but the learning component should be there. So what is this learning component? The learning component is crucial to existence of human being. हम लोग पैदा होते हैं तब अपने को कुछ पता नहीं रहता besides our primary senses. Okay, but as we grow to say age 2 or age 3, we almost start talking in our natural languages. तो ये बीच में क्या होता है, बीच में हम लोग वॉइस सुनते हैं, वो वॉइस को हम लोग रिमेम्बर करते हैं कि ये ऐसा सिचुएशन था तो ये वॉइस आया, ये ऐसा सिचुएशन था तो वो वॉइस आया, and then we start actually attributing certain common properties or identifying certain common properties of those utterances or those voices, and we start calling them utterances, ma ma ba ba, something like that if you are a child. And then in as we gain more and more experiences, that ma ma ba ba becomes actual words, and you start speaking those words, you then start speaking sentences, then you start conversing. Okay, and then you start giving galis to other people. Okay, that's a funny thing. But then what makes you gain this understanding? Just mere reasoning and knowledge and natural language abilities which are not there presently doesn't give you this. So you gain natural language understanding because you have learning abilities. You have learning abilities that makes you perform better on the same task. So learning का एक definition मैंने पहले आपको दिया था. So when machine learning का दिया था शायद, तो ये learning in general है, ये general term learning है. Machine learning is where there are algorithms which are trying to solve a problem, and these problem solving algorithms, we are making them better and better to solve same task. Okay, so learning gives you that ability. Learning makes you better equipped to solve certain tasks, and that is why learning abilities should be there. So these learning abilities actually make you improve the understanding that you get from the knowledge base and the reasoning process by making these process fine-tuned to the task that you are doing. Okay, so fine-tuning of knowledge, fine-tuning of reasoning process, fine-tuning of your abilities to be able to converse in natural discourse, all these are done through who? Through learning. Okay, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमको शायद कोई म्यूजिक इक्विपमेंट आता नहीं था जब हम लोग छोटे थे, बट मे बी या कोई भी चीज, कोई भी स्किल फॉर दैट मैटर, जस्ट पिक अप एनी स्किल एंड यू माइट नॉट हैव दैट स्किल विथ यू व्हेन यू जस्ट आर यंग, but then when you go to a particular teacher, okay, he teaches you the skill, he tells you that okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then you actually gain the understanding of that skill. Then you have that skill with you, and then there are certain maestros in music or maestros in art, okay, who will not remain only restrained by the teacher that teaches him the skill, but they keep on improving that skill so much so that now they are the best in that particular skill. ये क्यों होता है? Because you have those learning abilities. Now when you are learning through a teacher, that is called as supervised learning. When you are learning yourself without any teacher or without any supporting system, that is called as unsupervised learning. And there is sometimes learning like the Ekalavya, where there is somewhat presence of teacher, but he is not physically there, but the belief is there that there is a teacher and he is also teaching on his own. So that is called as some sort of semi-supervised learning. So these learning abilities should be there in an AI system. So Turing test को pass करने के लिए ये 4 components AI system में होने चाहिए. So somebody asks you the question, what are the components in AI system? You just need to tell that if you are talking about an AI that is acting like human, that is thinking like human, I should say. Okay, I just need to keep this so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So if I want to have an AI that is acting like human, okay, I was right, acting like human, then the AI should have 1, 2, 3, 4 components in it. If these components are there, the AI might actually pass the Turing test. Besides these capabilities, the vision processing or the ability to process the visual signals, if they are there in AI, and being able to operate in a particular work envelope, that is physical robotic appendages, अगर वो particular AI में रहेंगे, so that will be a more so a realistic human like acting AI. ओके, ये ह्यूमनॉइड के लिए हो गया, लेकिन वो दो चीजें नहीं है कि आई एम नॉट एबल टू प्रोसेस द विजुअल सिग्नल्स, आई एम नॉट प्रोसेस बीइंग एबल टू navigate in the work envelope, but I'm able to have knowledge base, reasoning abilities, language understanding and learning. That is also sufficient for an AI to be an AI and to fool the interrogator for being an AI solving a particular task. So that is the Turing test for you. People ask generally a 5 marks question, maybe in IA and or maybe in oral examination. What is the Turing test, or who developed the Turing test? What do you do in Turing test? Okay, there is another counter test. You can search for it. Chinese room experiment. Okay, so that is also an interesting one. Okay, that I guess you can go and visit on the net. But Turing test is sufficient to learn as far as the subject is concerned. The next thing is thinking like human. So there were 4 quadrants, no? Thinking, so acting humanly, thinking humanly. So thinking humanly, ये जो definition का collection है, ये वो research ने बनाया है जो cognitive modeling पे focus कर रहे थे. So what is cognitive modeling? Cognitive modeling यानी जो अपनी cognitive abilities है, कुछ abilities के बारे में मैं पहले आपको बताया. That is, I am able to converse with you in natural language. जो भी मैं बोल रहा हूँ उसमें से कुछ ना कुछ कंटेंट आपको समझ में आ रहा है, बिकॉज आई एम टॉकिंग इन अ मिक्स्ड कोडेड language. मैं इंग्लिश में भी बोल रहा हूँ, simultaneously some of the sentences that I am uttering, they are in Hindi as well. So you also need to tune your understanding level to that particular conversation. But on the other hand, if somebody is speaking continuously in English, then you have to tune yourself to understand that as well. अगर कोई continuously हिंदी में ही बात कर रहा है, तो आपको उसी के साथ मैचअप करना पड़ेगा. ये हम लोग एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग क्यों कर सकते हैं? क्योंकि हमको नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग जो है उस चीज का कॉग्निटिव सेंस या कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटी है. हमको दूसरे कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटीज कौन से है? आई एम एबल टू हियर and understand different sounds. I can understand that in my background there is some water dripping out from some storage tank of my neighbor, and that sound is coming continuously. But आपको जो आवाज आ रहा होगा, आपको सिर्फ नॉइज आ रहा होगा बैकग्राउंड में, आपको वो नहीं समझेगा ये क्या हो रहा है. ये मैंने क्यों मेक आउट किया? बिकॉज आई एम हियरिंग दिस लॉट एवरी डे and nobody is doing anything for that. Even I scold my neighbor, he doesn't do anything for that. Okay, so that is another cognitive ability that we have, being able to hear and understand sounds. अभी जैसे 3-4 लेक्चर सुनने के बाद जब भी मैं बोलना चालू करूंगा, अगर मेरा रिकॉर्डेड वीडियो यहाँ आया, वो मैंने रखा, या किसी दूसरे को मैंने यहाँ बिठा दिया कि चलो आज आप सिखा लो, मेरे को कंटाला आ गया है, then you will still understand कि नहीं, ये सर नहीं है, ये दूसरे किसी का आवाज है. Why? That is, you are able to identify the person from his voice. Some to certain degree, not expert, not an expertise. The other abilities that you have is being able to process the images. आपका जो क्या बोलते हैं, not able to speech recognition, natural language processing, and the third one is computer vision. Computer vision. I was not able to remember CV ka full form. Computer vision. So your ability to do vision analysis is also a cognitive ability. So why these abilities are called as cognitive abilities? Because these are very difficult to explain using a single algorithm. You cannot easily understand this theoretical representation of these abilities that we have, simply because you can't understand the cycle of processing that goes behind in doing all these things. Just imagine मैं image processing करता हूँ, आपको लगता होगा कि नहीं, एक मास्क होगा, जो मास्क वो पर्टिकुलर इमेज जो मैंने कैप्चर किया रेटिना के ऊपर, उस पर कंटिन्यूसली जाता होगा, एंड फ्रॉम दैट पर्टिकुलर मास्क आई वुड एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड सम एजेस, देन वो एजेस ज्वाइन करके मैं बनाता हूँ पिक्चर मेरे माइंड में. बट ये हो गया वो पर्टिकुलर शेप को रिकॉग्नाइज करना. What about the tone of color and the other things that I get? There will be some other processing done on that. Now there is always a quarrel at my home and they say the PPP or the family members in my home, they say, अरे तेरे को तो कलर पहचानने को ही नहीं आता. And there are people who actually can smell things and tell what that particular smell is, and there is me who is not able to understand from the smell it is a smell of fish or a smell of something else. Okay, so there are these abilities that human beings show, but we are very much not able to understand how do I quantitatively इवैल्यूएट कि ये एबिलिटी इस पर्टिकुलर पर्सन को इतना आता है, मतलब कितना आता है. आपके मार्क्स जैसे होते हैं 70%, 30%, 50%, आउट ऑफ 80 आई गॉट से 60 मार्क्स, आई कैन रिप्रेजेंट इट न्यूमेरिकली कि इतने परसेंटेज मिले, and then I can compare two students on that percentage level and say that okay, this person has higher marks, so he is better in this subject. Okay, but how do I recognize that how good a person is in the smell test or in the voice test or in the natural language discourse? It's very difficult. Somebody can speak a lot on a particular topic, but he is mum on a particular other topic. So should I say that he is very good in natural language processing, or should I say he is bad in natural language processing? I can't say that, right? I can't say that. Simply because somebody has a good experience on a particular topic, he can speak well on that particular topic, right? So all these cognitive abilities, modeling these cognitive abilities, they should be treated with a different set of tools or different set of AI systems that we develop. And that's why there is a what you can say, community of people who use a different definition of AI. So these people attribute AI to be able to model this cognitive ability that is generally attributed to us human beings. Okay, so that is why thinking humanly is referred to as cognitive modeling of human thoughts. Thinking rationally, laws of thoughts. So identify the laws of thoughts. Okay, laws of thoughts कैसे होते हैं? So logic is rational, logic is mathematical. So whatever we use in our mind is somewhat fuzzy. Okay, it's not basically a Boolean logic. Okay, it's somewhat fuzzy. So there is fuzzy logic as well. There are various logics available to us to use. Propositional logic is there, predicate logic is there, temporal logic is there, fuzzy logic is there, probabilistic reasoning is there. Okay, so knowledge representation के लिए logic is a very good tool, and there are various logics available, and this particular idea, thinking rationally, can be implemented if I actually use the rules of logic, because these rules of logic, they pay no heed to suboptimal अंडरस्टैंडिंग. जो भी आता है वो इधर फैक्ट होता है या रूल होता है, और आप रिप्रेजेंट करते हो लॉजिक में, एंड देन देयर आर all the rules which are there. You need to follow those rules for reasoning something out from the existing body of knowledge. Hence, you never give an answer which is less than optimal. But the only problem then to have rationality is, am I able to model the entire environment? And how do I distinguish that something is in the environment of a particular agent or something is not in the environment of that particular agent? That's a difficult task. कितना चीज को मैं कंसिडर करूं कि वो मेरे एनवायरनमेंट का पार्ट है, उसके बारे में क्या क्या नॉलेज मेरे पास होना चाहिए, so as I whatever decisions I am taking would be accurate or would be optimal. Okay, so having a rational system is very difficult.